Hi everyone, it's Nicole here. Welcome back to another video. The year is coming to an end, so I thought I'd do a flip through of my 2020 bullet journal. I used this notebook from Muji this year. I'm not sure if they still sell these, but I will link it down below if I can find it. I pasted this sticker I made on the cover to make it look less plain. I generally like to keep the outer covers on my bullet journal simple, so I didn't decorate it much. I went with the pink and purple theme for the inner cover. This isn't the original cover I made at the start of the year. I actually pasted a piece of purple paper over the page and redecorated the whole cover because I didn't like the original one. I got most of the photos from Pinterest, and I got this quote from WordLast7 on Instagram. I set up a few yearly spreads this year, and the first one is this year at a glance spread. I only use this to keep track of public holidays because I don't like flipping all the way to the front of my bullet journal to check for events. The next spread is sort of a 2020 highlights spread. I basically wrote down some significant things that happened each month here. I haven't written much for December yet, even though the month is already coming to an end. I'll try to fill in more things soon. Next, I created a watch list to track the movies and shows I watched. I recorded down the dates I watched the movie or show and my rating for it. The first page contains the movies and the second page contains the shows. One of my 2020 goals was to watch a movie every month, and that was going great for the first half of the year. But then I got busy with university stuff and forgot all about watching movies. I also made this reading reel spread to list down the books I've read this year. However, I didn't end up using this in the later half of the year because I read quite a lot and got lazy to list down every single title I read. Instead, I've been relying on Goodreads to track my reading. You can check out my account, I'll link it in the description down below. My reading goals for the year were to read 25 books in total, including 5 non-fiction books. I've read 51 books so far, so I totally exceeded the first goal, but I definitely have not managed to read 5 non-fiction books. The next spread is my expense tracker, which I also stopped using halfway through the year. Behind this is my university schedule. This is for the second semester of my first year, and this is for the first semester of my second year. And finally, we've come to the monthly spreads. I try to follow a theme for most months, and January's theme was The Greatest Showman. This is probably my favourite monthly cover I made in 2020. On the other side of the page, I wrote down this line from A Million Dreams. I think it goes really well with the black and silver starry theme. I usually create a calendar every month to record any appointments and events. January's calendar is really simple and a little boring, to be honest. I also made this mood tracker that didn't turn out as pretty as I expected. I feel like the cover page for this month came out amazing, and then the rest of the month was just sort of ugly. I kept the weekly spreads for the first 3 weeks of January simple because I was on break, so I didn't really need to plan much. For the 4th week of January, which was also the second week of my semester, that's why I wrote week 2 here, I created my first detailed weekly spread for the year. I remember I just got a new brown and gold pens, which I used to create this spread. And this one as well. For February, I did a colourful windows theme. I think February's spreads turned out the most cohesive out of all the months in 2020. I love how this mood tracker plus monthly summary page turned out. I think this is my favourite mood tracker I've ever made. The spreads for the first and second week of February turned out so-so, but I love how the third week's spread turned out. It's super cute in my opinion. The last week's spread was really ugly because I created it in a rush. The page also got stained with the yellow ink I used for the March cover, so that made it even worse. The theme for March was primary colours, and I had lots of fun creating the spreads. I feel like I was able to focus more on playing around with layouts this month since I had fixed colour options. I rarely use stickers in my bullet journal, but I wanted to try incorporating them more, so I included these 2 stickers for the second week's spread. I think they match the rest of the spread really well. The last 2 spreads for this month are really simple because it was that time of the semester where I got really busy again, so I didn't have much time to create pretty spreads. April always reminds me of spring, even though I'm not sure when spring officially starts, so I went with a floral theme for this month. I don't really like how the cover page turned out, but I do like this page, as well as the calendar page. I think this is my favourite calendar spread of the year. I love the colourfulness, and I also used a vertical layout instead of the usual horizontal layout, which turned out better than I expected. So I'm not very good at painting and I can never control my brush well, which explains the mess which is the first spread of April. This looked a lot better in my head. Let's just ignore this mess that I created in a rush. I sort of like how this spread turned out, but I also don't love it that much, maybe because of the colour scheme. I feel like it's too red. This page is also sort of a mess. This one though, I quite like. I love the contrast between the purple and the yellow, and purple is my favourite colour, so it's no surprise that this is one of my favourite spreads for the year. The last two spreads for April again looked way better in my head. I sort of like the simplicity of this spread, but it also looks a bit empty. I didn't really do an elaborate setup for May since it was my summer break. I did create this summer bucket list of sorts though. I started getting interested in illustrating during summer, so I listed down some illustration ideas. I also made a ton of journal spreads. Majority of my journal entries for the year were created during summer break. Since I started becoming more active on Instagram around this time, I realized I still needed to plan my weeks. I was trying to post every 2 days then, so I needed to make sure I took and edited my photos in time to post. I also committed to uploading videos weekly, so I had to plan when to film and edit my videos too. I did a lot of journal with me's back then, so I had to intentionally find a day where I could sit down and film myself journaling in peace. I say back then like I've been running this channel forever, but it's only been almost a year. My content has changed a lot throughout the year though. June's theme was pink and purple, and the cover turned out way uglier than I planned for it to. I wanted to use an illustration for the cover page, but it turned out sort of bad. This somehow reminds me of Animal Farm, which is not a book I like to be reminded about. I really like how the weekly spreads turned out for June though. In fact, my summer spreads are some of the prettiest because I needed to make them look good for the gram. Also, I made it a goal to try new styles, so you'll be seeing some fun and interesting layouts soon. The first week of June was really exciting on the K-pop front because Twice came back with More and More and Bangyedam debuted with Wayo. Pardon my pronunciation because I'm not very good at pronouncing Korean, but I'm trying my best. I made journal spreads for these, but they didn't turn out that nice, so I never posted them. AB6 was also supposed to come back the following week, so I was really excited for the teasers and stuff. But then, their comeback got pushed back and I was very disappointed. This is one of my favourite spreads as well. I rarely do 2-page spreads, but I wanted to jot down some thoughts for each day, so I needed more space. I love how filled this spread looks. A lot of my bullet journal spreads end up having a lot of empty spaces, but not this one. I also included these quotes from Kiki's delivery service. This is one of my favourite quotes ever because I can really relate. This is also one of my favourite spreads. I did a non-linear layout for this, which was inspired by this spread's layout. I didn't think about it then, but the photos go really well with one another to give a strong carnival vibe. I also added details to the photos in white ink, which is something I saw a lot of Instagrammers do, but I never really tried before. This page actually turned out better than I expected it to. I didn't put much thought into it, and did some really simple lettering, but somehow it turned out good. I love how I said, "I'm so old and rusty here." That's such a mood. I didn't really have a theme for July, I just wanted to try a bunch of colour schemes I'd never tried before. Even though there wasn't a theme, July is one of my favourite months to look back on because everything is so colourful and there's freshness in every weekly spread, since they're all pretty different. July was when I made a commitment to work out every day, so I have this post-it to track which days of the Chloe Ting 2020 summer shred I completed. I was originally supposed to do a reflection of the month here, but I got lazy, so since July 1st to 5th fell on the same week as June 29th and 30th, I wanted them to have a similar theme. I'm not sure how I like this colour scheme though. I quite like how this spread turned out, but I didn't use it much, sadly. I also added this translated lyric from The Answer by AB6, but it doesn't sound good in English. July Week 3's spread is another one of my favourites. I used these illustrations by artbyng.jpg, as well as this to-do sticky, sticker dots, and grid washi tape I just got then. This washi tape is one of my favourite easy buy finds ever. It's way more opaque than the one I got from Daiso and has a nice matte finish. I'll link it down below in the description. I sketched some illustration ideas on this page and used this page to track my online orders. I started to order lots of stuff from Ezbuy and Shopee around this time, which was really bad for my wallet. Thankfully, my urge to online shop has since died down a little. I planned to participate in the Nostalgiathon, so I created this list of books I wanted to read for each prompt. I only got around to reading maybe half of these in the end, so it was sort of a failed readathon. On this side, I planned my stationery haul video, which I will link up above and down below too. And next, I created a calendar for module registration for the first semester of my second year of university. Module registration is always really stressful for me, so I needed a bird's eye view of all the dates and deadlines. Okay, I think I'm really not a fan of red spreads, because I find the redness of this a little too much again. Oh gosh, July's flip-through is getting so long. But anyway, these are the last two spreads of the month. I was excited to use this sticker for this spread, but it turned out way more transparent than I anticipated, so I had to improvise and it didn't turn out nice. In the end, I covered it up with a post-it. These post-its are another great find, so I'll link them down below too. I printed this photo because it's super cute and AB6 playing Mafia was really funny. But I didn't have a chance to use it until this spread since it didn't match the usual colour schemes I use. This spread is another one that turned out nicer than I expected. Here's a plan for my August setup video and a quote from Kiki's delivery service. And finally, we've come to the end of July. I started my second year of university in August. I was really busy this past semester, so I didn't really have the time to make aesthetic spreads, as you'll see soon. This is one of my favourite, or maybe even my favourite monthly setups. I went for an early colour scheme and reused the layout of the mood tracker from February. I also added this sticker that I made, and I'm now realising that the quality of the sticker paper is really bad. The white background used to look more opaque, but now it's sort of become translucent for some reason. I tried writing down my events and daily to-dos separately. Not sure if that makes sense, but you can see here that I have my to-dos here and my events here. I quite like this layout, so I repeated it a few times throughout the semester. The title for this spread turned out horribly. I'm not sure what I was doing. Again, I don't know what I was doing with this title. I think that's quite a common theme for the rest of the spreads. It seems I ran out of title inspiration after summer. I also started doing 2-page spreads more this past semester because I felt like I had more tasks and needed more space to plan. I sort of like the layout of this spread, even though it's quite simple. I'm not sure why I used the same font and font size for both the title and the daily headings for this spread, which looks really bad to me right now. I like the stickers on this spread though, which were all designed by me. Also, the amount of tasks I had is ridiculous. This spread is more functional than anything. I feel like I didn't even try with this one, but I was starting to get busy, so I think that's why. I remember having a hard time figuring out what theme to do for September. I ended up settling for autumn colours since September is an autumn month, if I'm not wrong. As you can see, I didn't fill up my mood tracker much, and I also stopped exercising. Here's another functional spread. I'm so disturbed by the lines, which are not straight. This spread was inspired by these spreads that I made back in 2017. It's not as pretty though. I feel like my creativity has just been decreasing year by year. Oh, but this washi tape is another one of my online shopping finds. It's surprisingly opaque and affordable. I'll link this down below as well. This spread is so empty, I don't even know what to comment about it. The pie sort of looks weird too. I sort of like how this spread looks, but I didn't really end up using it because I received my iPad and planned on there. Week 7's spread was again very functional. And with that, we've come to October. I don't remember what happened, but I only have spreads for 2 weeks here. I think I planned out the other 2 weeks on my iPad. I was really running out of inspiration at this point, but I think October's cover page turned out quite nice. The 2 spreads I made here are really simple, and I don't think I put much effort into them because I was getting really busy by this time in the semester. That's all I have in my physical bullet journal, but I wanted to show you some of my digital bullet journal spreads as well. This is the spread I made for the last week of October. I made these stickers, which I'll link down below. For November, I created a set of digital bullet journal spreads, which again I'll link below, along with these plant stickers. I didn't end up using the goal/habit tracker, but the calendar and weekly spreads came in really handy. Week 13 was the last teaching week of the semester, so that's where my bullet journal ends too. I used a separate digital notebook to plan for reading and finals weeks, but it's very plain, so I won't show that to you guys in this video. I think 2020 is the year I bullet journaled the most because of how busy I was. I really needed to plan to stay on task and not miss deadlines. Looking back at my bullet journal for this year made me feel like this year was just really long. It feels like forever ago when I created those January and February spreads. Doing this video has also given me some inspiration for decorating my 2021 planner. I'm excited to continue bullet journaling/planning next year. I'll be using my pre-printed planner pages, but I still want to decorate them and do themes for each month. I really hope next year's planner will turn out even better than this year's. If you've watched till this point in the video, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and comment if you like this video, and subscribe if you haven't already to see more content like this. I'll see you again soon. Bye!